13 days remain until the American people go to the polls. Already, more than 17 million Americans have voted. The polls say that the race is razor close. This is the warning. John Kelly is a retired United States Marine Corps general. He spent his entire life in service to the United States. And John Kelly paid a very high price for America's wars over the last 20 years. He wasn't just a commander. He was a father who lost a son in those wars. And John Kelly went on to serve as Donald Trump's first chief of staff in the White House. I've been very critical of General Kelly. I don't agree with his politics, and I don't agree with his conduct once he went into politics, leaving his military career behind. Every one of the people around Donald Trump, Mattis, Esper, Kelly, all of these people know exactly who Donald Trump is. And each of them has the credibility to warn a small slice of the population who will listen to them about what it is that Donald Trump is. Now, John Kelly has called Trump what Trump is and what I have called him for many, many years. When I use the word fascist, it is not for the purposes of further inflaming the debate. When I use this word, the purpose of its use is precision to describe what it is that Trump is, because he's not a Republican, though he carries magic letter R next to his name. What Trump is a fascist. He's become one over 10 years. Here is how John Kelly describes fascism. Here's Benito Mussolini, the first fascist, the man who invented it. Trump believes in a dogma of government control for the collective and its interests as seen by him, which coincidentally are really his interests. This is the most corrupt political philosophy ever, and it's dangerous and it's lethal. By the time fascism had run its course, more than 100 million human beings were dead around the world. It was the greatest disaster in human history. And incredibly, less than one full lifetime after it ended, much of the lessons from it have been forgotten. The American population doesn't remember the Second World War, doesn't remember Mussolini. It doesn't remember Hitler. It doesn't remember the militarists and the nationalists. It doesn't remember the men who lit the world on fire, men like Trump, men who want power, and with that power want to take from you whatever it is they wish to have. Their appetites are limitless. There is no restraint attached to fascism. Donald Trump is threatening to pursue the enemy within with the U.S. military. I'm part of the enemy within because I will never back down to Donald Trump. And any American who stands opposed to him and stands up for their freedom, the Supreme Court has already ruled that should Donald Trump send SEAL Team 6 to assassinate an American citizen, no problem. Appreciating the danger of the moment, heeding the warnings of the people who are around Trump, even if they are coming late, even in the case of John Kelly's, years late, heeding these messages, these warnings, understanding them while there's still time to act on them, up including to the last second, is of vital importance for America's security. John Kelly has seen the U.S. military up close. He helped lead it. He's a Marine officer, and he served in the White House with the commander-in-chief who hates the idea that the American people have freedoms that are not granted by him. He's talked about it over and over again. Who is Donald Trump? He's the man who said that the gravestones in our most sacred spaces mark the spots where suckers and losers are buried. Donald Trump, after agreeing to pay for the funeral of a murdered Mexican-American young woman, an Army soldier, when he got the bill and the cost of the funeral was $60,000, he supposedly replied, "For a Mexican?" This is a vile man, a cruel, disordered personality. Listen to him on the campaign trail. Listen to his threats. It's not a joke. He means it. And in 13 days, 100 million Americans will turn out and vote, and they'll decide whether to give him the power that he's made quite clear he will abuse and try to twist into the power of a Caesar, a dictator, and he'll use it to punish, to seek revenge, to get retribution. And of course, America's broken media never takes a day off. When given the opportunity to ask a question of the Vice President of the United States about the fascist threat,
it is entirely possible that the federal court cases against the former president will continue on. He is, of course, facing those felony charges. Would you consider, if you win and he's convicted, a pardon for former President Trump?
I'm not going to get into those hypotheticals. I'm focused on the next 14 days.
But do you believe, is there any part of you that subscribes to the argument that has been made in the past that a pardon could help bring America together, could help unify the country and move on?
Let me tell you what's going to help us move on. I get elected president of the United States.
NBC's Hallie Jackson thinks the issue at hand is whether the vice president not yet elected should pardon the convicted felon. Is this really the question on the minds of the American people? Or was NBC fishing for some clickbait to inflame the situation on a peripheral issue? Because that's what journalism has become. And what it should have done was warn the American people about what was barreling down the tracks at them. What's barreling down the tracks at them is fascism. Trump will bring to us the same ruin that this poisonous philosophy brought to these people. This is The Warning. I'm Steve Schmidt. This is The Warning, and I invite you to subscribe on our Substack, on our YouTube channel. Follow us. Welcome to the community.